Shalom, welcome to today's edition of Rabbi Ron in the House, Tree of Life Bible, Messianic Jewish Bible, Acts chapter 3, digging in. Yesterday we looked here at the chapter where Peter and John saw the man who'd been lame since birth. And he said, hey, listen, I ain't got any money for you, but what I do have, I'll give you. And he said, in the name of Yeshua, rise and walk. And we talked about that yesterday. But the next part after that says, then Peter grabbed him by the hand, raised him up, and immediately the man's feet and ankles were made strong. He didn't just speak and say, arise and walk. He then took his hand. He grabbed the man's hand and he lifted him up off the floor. He lifted him right up there. He didn't just say, okay, good, I pray for you to be healed, and walked on his way. But he went ahead and he grabbed his hand, raised him up, and it says that immediately, once Peter did that, grabbed him by the hand, his feet and his ankles were strengthened. And that's when his healing, that's when his miracle took place. Sometimes prayer requires action, faith, trusting. It requires faith. It requires us to take action. Peter also, when he was out there in the boat, Yeshua said he was walking on water, and Peter said, gee, let me do that. Yeshua said, fine. He said, but step out in the boat. Had no assurance beforehand. And once he stepped out and started walking, it happened. Sometimes here we look, at least with Peter. Peter, then, it was required that his faith was coupled with action. Pretty interesting. I don't know there. Was God testing us there? Listen, you say you believe me. You put these words out of your mouth and say you believe me. But let's see it. Step out of the boat with no actual assurance. Or here, grab the man by the hand and lift him to his feet. And then let go and see what happens. See if he falls on his face or if he actually stands and starts walking. And so I don't know, is it a test? Is it that action, maybe, that is what helps activate the results? That then we have to take action, and that's what brings it about. I'd love to hear from you. Is this something that has to happen all the time? Does faith and trust always have to involve such action? Daring action, stepping out in a place like this where you grab the man's hand, lift him to his feet and say, all right, let's see if God really healed you. It's interesting. Please give this some thought. Jot me a note in the comments section. Let me know what you think. But certainly we see here with Peter with this and the walking on the water, Peter had to put his faith into action. He had to take his words and act upon them. And when he did, he saw some incredible stuff happen. Maybe that's what's missing in our lives. Here in America, we don't have tons of miracles. Maybe if we acted a little bit more like Peter and didn't just pray, but then followed through and did something daring like that, maybe then God would see we really do believe him. And things might be different. I don't know. What do you think? Give it some great thought and let us know. Thanks for joining us today. This has been Rabbi Ron in the House.